What is going on, everyone? It is Rob here. After what seems like an age, I've been waiting on getting some cards back from PSA before I did another video, and so we have a nice 15 card submission today from Subcenter. These were submitted 6 months ago, so it's been a long while. But we won't waffle too much. We'll get down to the cards and we will take a look because I'm very eager to see what grades we get. We're going in blind. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I submitted 15 cards. This looks a bit light to me, but hopefully they're all here for 15 cards. But so yeah, like I said, this was submitted in January, literally 6 months to the day today was when this was submitted. And since then a lot has changed with grading, a lot has changed with PSA and sort of their standards. So we'll talk a little bit about that in the video. We'll talk about their tiers, what's changed. But basically the goal for today is, maybe there are 15 cards there. I'm going for 15 cards, let's say, try to be careful here not to damage the slabs at all. The ASMR is there. Let's go with 11 10s. If we can get 11 10s, I would be quite happy. So let's see, we got the first one here, we've got it covered. Up first is Espeon. This is the prismatic figure collection. It is Gem Mint 10. There we go, straight away, right off the bat. Nice score. So we'll talk a little bit about my strategy before we went into this. This was when bulk was open, bulk tier submission. And so, you know, a lot of the cards I submitted in this particular submission are more bulk kind of tier cards, you know. So, you know, would I be submitting them today? No, because bulk is not open. Umbreon from the same figure collection, 10 Gem and 10, there we go, nice. These two I think probably around 400 or 500 together as a pair. Lovely cards to get together like that and a 10. But yeah, have I changed my strategy? Big time. I don't really submit kind of bulky cards now anymore. There we have another one for good measure, Gem and 10. So with bulky submissions now, I've put all my bulk cards to one side. They're not even worth submitting. It's just so messy that you're kind of like, what's the point? Love this card. Submitted one of these to Ace. It got damaged in transit. I think it's a class card. This, when I did this submission, you know, Mega wasn't out very long. I think I had done 1 or 2 card shows around the Mega release, so I had some Mega stuff. It is a Gem in 10. There we go. Okay, so we're perfect. We're 4 for 4. The other thing that has changed in my submissions between the last PSA video and this PSA video is the first submission video. I think I got 6 out of 10 10s, but all of them were submitted based on vibes, eyeball. I wasn't measuring them, wasn't really looking super close. I was kind of like, yeah, that looks like a 10. These I was a bit more mercenary. Love this card, Akira Igawa. Is it a 10? Gem in 10, there we go. That is a flawless submission so far, but isn't that a great card? I think this is a card that will, over time, do a lot better. It's just such a flashy, cool card. I think it's kind of fallen under people's radars because there's been so many good cards out lately that we haven't really consolidated and looked back and said, you know what, actually, there's some really cool cards we've kind of missed out on. Superior SIR, lovely card again. Gem in 10. Yeah, nice. Lovely card. Again, this is the kind of card now, like currently, would I be submitting to PSA? No. No, this isn't. It is an SIR, but at the same time, you know, not all SIRs are created equally, and sometimes, you know, PSA, there's not really that much of a markup on a card in a 10 a lot of the time. Love this card. Speaking of cards, love this card. You know, I'm looking at it and, you know, most of these I was fairly confident at the time I sent them out. It's a Gem in 10, there we go. I love this card. This could potentially be a keeper for the PC. It's a fantastic card, really, really good. And you know, I was kind of second guessing myself with cards because I had submitted to Ace and almost everything that came back in the meantime was coming back 10s as an Ace, and I know people say Ace give out an easier 10. But I had changed my standard personally, so I was kind of saying like, is it just that Ace give out easy 10s? Have I got a good eye for it? I don't know. This card has a story. Shouts out Marty. This is a Beckett 9.5. The reason I submitted it is because it was within the centering standards for a PSA 10, and I thought it was pretty clean. I think there was maybe one sort of micro dent on it, but I thought maybe that's enough for it to get a 10. But it is cracked from a Beckett 9.5. Have I done well on them historically? No. Let's check it out. Gem in 10. There we go. Awesome. And again, I really do love this card as well. It's savage. You know, I just said about the Articuno, but that's another slab that I would be looking at and saying, do I want to keep that to one side? It's a great card. Story behind this card. Chiyu. This is one of the cards that kind of got me back into the hobby, actually. I think I basically stumbled back across Pokemon cards, and I was like, let me look up and see like what some of the cooler new cards are. And I seen this Chiyu and loves the Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet, like I actually used it on my team. And I just seen this card and I thought, wow, really cool card. Akira Igawa. I have it in a Japanese 10. Can I get it in an English 10? Yes. Okay, right. So let's do a little stock take here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 10s so far. If we can get 10 10s, great. And then 11, I'd be kind of hitting goals of what I really wanted. Mew from Celebrations, you know, we've got the 30th celebration coming up. I like this card a lot, actually. I like the colours, like shiny Mew. Does it like me? Gem in 10, it does. There we go. Savage. Yeah, really cool card. Very cool. Happy to get that in a 10, especially with the 30th anniversary coming up. You know, people are again, as I said earlier, they're looking back on older cards and stuff. Meowth. This is one of those cards to me where, you know, I was saying there's so much new stuff coming out, so many new cards. This Meowth, I kind of think has slipped through the cracks because there's been so many nice Meowths. We've had the Phantasmal, we've had the Perfect Order, I think it was, had Meowth. And I actually think this is one of my favourites. Got a bit of Giovanni action there. Kind of tells a story. Gem in 10. There we go, folks. We have only got... No, we've got a lot of cards there anyway. It just looked smaller when I looked at the pile. This is very of its time. This will show you kind of around the era that I submitted. I had this and the English version, which will be coming up next, and I said, what the hell? It's a pump to meme card. I kind of knew at the time, but I said, let's give it a go and submit it. It is a Gem in 10. Again, cool card regardless though. I still think it's a cool card, so I don't mind. But that is a perfect example of a card without the bulk tier that I would never, ever, ever submit. Here's his English counterpart. Mint 9, okay, that's the first one that dropped a bit. And do you know what? I actually don't mind because of what card it is. Do you know what I mean? I'd sooner have a Mint 9 in this than one of the kind of nicer cards there. So that is what it is. I don't know why. I'm actually looking there and I see the bottom right corner is a bit funky. Well, I think the back was absolutely perfect. There might have been maybe one corner and one surface blemish or something like that. But it was nice to have the Japanese in a 10, I suppose. So that one goes to one side. And that leaves us with all 10s and one 9. Infernape. Super cool card as well. It's one of those ones when you pull it, it just stands out straight away. It's a Gem in 10. There we go. Pyro Dance. Very cool card. Infernape, you can't really go wrong with starters, you know what I mean? Like when you're starter evos and stuff, like there's always someone who's going to like them. Lugia V-Star, again, I just submitted it because it was a clean card. So let's see what we did. Gem in 10. Wow, okay. Sort of little bit, in a way, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised, but because I'll be honest, when I submitted these, there was just so much talk about PSA's updated the standards, everything's getting harder, and I was starting to sweat actually, I'll be honest. I was kind of saying, oh no, like what have I gotten myself in for here? This is going to be really tricky. And I was waiting such a long time, 6 months, And even I was looking at the time and kind of saying like, would I really, would I really have submitted these today? Are these the type of cards that I would have submitted? The answer is probably not, but I'm really glad I did because, like I said, huge 10 rate right there. And people might ask, some people have asked me about grading and what way do I do it and what do I look out for. You have to be really, really mercenary, and to be honest with you, it helps when you're grading modern. First off, modern is an easier grade, but you still need to be mercenary. And I can afford to be mercenary because I see so many cards coming in and out. But if it's your personal collection that you're sending off to grade, I feel like that's a lot of the time where it gets trickier to get 10s all the time, because you're grading just what you have to hand rather than, being able to afford to, I'll put this aside to grade. So that's kind of how I operate, and it's paid off quite well for me. So I mean, look, I'm delighted that's the books are 10, and then the card that I probably wanted the least in a 10, maybe the Japanese version I would have wanted least in a 10, came back a 9. So pretty big hits right there. And the good news is, folks, that we have another submission of 12 cards that should be back next month, I think. And then we have some smaller volume, higher value cards off of PSA currently as well. We have the Stairs Umbreon, can't remember what set he's from. We have a really cool Japanese Hoopa card, I think there's a lot of money in a 10. We have, what else do we have? So other stuff that's higher value, like over 1,000 in a PSA 10, got a good couple of them, and I have a lot ready to go as well. The other thing that I'll just say before I leave this video, because there's a lot of kind of hubris, shall we say, and noise about PSA and stuff, is the tiers that are worthwhile sending cards in, they're still open. There's a lot of noise online, and that's coming from people who want to send off bulk submissions, and most of the time you don't want to send valuable cards on bulk anyway. It slows down the whole process because they have to upcharge you have to pay them back, blah blah blah. So currently in Ireland, if I'm using the sub center, which is UK based, I'm paying about 60 to 7 for a card submission, and that covers the value of a 1,500 PSA 10. So yeah, you're only subbing nicer cards, you're not subbing your bulk stuff, but that's not a problem. I think actually, as a little aside, the amount of cards that are getting graded at the minute is a huge problem, and it's not so much people that are sending in their personal collections, their chases, their favorite cards. It's people that are sending in cards for blind bags, people that are sending in bulk stuff to dupe people, and a lot of that is happening. You see really, really bad cards being sent in for submission, and the reason is they can pop them in a blind bag and say guaranteed slab in this bag, and kids and people who don't know better will buy the card as a bit of a gamble, and then they lose out. But I've seen and know of personally people, and it's just so high volume that the average consumer who is just buying the autograded card wouldn't even really understand the volume of cards that are getting sent in to be graded for these blind bags, because for a lot of vendors that's actually where they make their money. It doesn't really so much happen in Ireland, happens in the States a lot more, happens in the UK a little bit. But I would actually encourage not to buy third-party blind bags or anything like that, because I think that that's kind of where a lot of these shenanigans are happening. And let the cream rise to the top. If there's a slab that you really like, save your pennies and buy it. It's quite possible, especially if you're ribbon packs, you have a couple of hits you really like, put them to one side, use them to trade, put them off a chase card that you're really after. But we'll leave it there, folks. Let's just take a quick little look before we go at our hit rate here. Amazing stuff. What's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Which is your favorite card? Which would you like to have in a 10? Me personally, probably the Arceus. I might keep for the personal collection. Maybe the Articuno, but the Chi-Yu as well though. The Chi-Yu as well though. But I do love that Arceus. What a great card. It's another one that just is so cool. I definitely think Slept-On. But Arceus has a lot of great cards, to be fair. But that Shiyu I love as well. Amazing stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video, folks. I have been Rob. If you're new to the channel, please leave a like and subscribe. The more you that like, comment, and subscribe, the more likely I am to put out generic kind of random videos. I might put out the odd grading tips video if that's something people are into. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. I've been Rob. This has been Lavender Town Towers. Over and out. See ya.